Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. I hope y'all are having a wonderful morning. I know everybody's like, damn, we back to work. Yes, honey, we are back to work. We got to get to this money, right? Cassandra said she liked my picture. Said great picture of Evelina, aka Wanda. Well, she don't want us to use her picture, so I always have an alternative. Okay, I have to be creative because I am a content creator. So we got to be creative, right? I was like, hey, no problem. You want me to use your picture? We sure won't. I have something else that I can use, and I know everybody will know exactly who and what I'm talking about. Okay. Sure will. Let's go ahead and speak to everybody so we can get into the show. I don't want to have to make you guys feel like I'm rushing, but I have 2 meetings that I have to attend to this morning, guys. Y'all know yesterday was a holiday, so today is catch up. So baby, we got to catch up. All right, we got to catch up, mustard and every damn thing else. So I have 2 back-to-back meetings, 9:30 and 11:30. So I'm gonna be in meetings a lot of the time today. I will still make time to pop in on you guys as well, as you know I will. But let's get into our show because I got to get out of here. Okay. And I did not want to not have a show. So you guys be like, Carol, where are you? All right. Because y'all be looking for me in the morning and I be trying to be on here. So let's get into it, honey. We're not going to have a long car chronicles, but I will still give you guys a worthwhile show. Okay. Good morning, Mary Giles. Good morning, Sweet Essence. Good morning, Rails Real Canadian Best Friend. Good morning. Good morning, Angela Kelly, Jamelia Ward, Carla Johnson, Miss Mary, Carla Gass. Good morning, Lana Thomas, Sheila Bennett. Good morning, Erica Rogers, Sheila Washington, Cassandra D, Kim Jones, Miss Cheryl H. Tuff. Good morning. Erica Butler again, Deboria Banks. Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning, Wanda Coxshell, Siobhan Foster, Laura Eden. Good morning, Essence Tender One. Good morning, Charlene Ford. Good morning, Love. Good morning, Joyce McClain. Desiree R.L. Good morning. Patricia Ransom. Good morning. Flower Bloom. Good morning. Darlene Mungum. Good morning. Trina Dean. Good morning. Sylvia Blow. Good morning. Shonda Allen. Kathy Hudson. Avis Ward. Good morning. Alicia Murray. Let's get into our show. Everything said in the video is alleged in my opinion and is used for fair use and entertainment. I'll go ahead and trigger one of y'all right now. This interview that we get ready to look at, I'm dragging asses. I already know I'm probably going to catch some heat behind it. It is what it fucking is. Y'all know how I am. I don't care about that. It's not going to be a rebuttal. So if Wanda feels a way about this, we got to talk about it. And y'all know I don't give a hot boiling damn how people be caring about their feelings. I don't babysit feelings, but we will drag asses this morning. So y'all probably get a good laugh and a gag. That's usually what comes with it. But let's get in some ass. All right, so we're gonna do one topic off topic and we jumping in, okay? Because I got to get this show on the road. So the young gentleman who came forward to talk about y'all know the little girl, Miss Shirley, that be out here doing the little boots on the ground dance. Well, y'all know CPS was called on her mother. So the gentleman who called came forward to talk about why he came forward, and let's get into what he had to say. It says that a man admits that he called CPS on Miss Shirley's mom, said if CPS finds out that it is not a case, then they'll drop it. But if they find it is one, said that maybe I did do the right thing, okay? So he's saying that the little girl be at adult events, in which I've seen that as well, that she be doing inappropriate dancing and different strangers, men and women, be picking the little girl up at said events. And he feels that it's inappropriate. So he wanted CPS to look into it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't agree with people just calling CPS all willy-nilly unless you see or know that there's a real issue, because you don't want someone investigating someone or taking somebody's kids if they should not be taken away. That could be traumatic not only for the mother but the child. Do I feel like this mother is doing a little bit too much of exploiting this child? I absolutely do. I do follow this little girl. I do follow her mom. I have to, because I'm a blogger. When you're nosy and you want to know what's going on, you have to follow things so that alerts and things will pop up and that you can see what's going on and able, so that you can report on it. So let's get into what he had to say.
I see everybody asking $1 million question. Who called CPS on Miss Shirley mama? Guilty. I didn't know her mama was going to get on live crashing out afterwards. And quite frankly, I don't give a damn. On my mama, I ain't never had this many people mad at me at one time in my life. I'm not even gonna lie. I was already scared for the little girl while she was doing boots on the ground, goddammit. But then I saw that little Johnny Gill put on your red dress and your high heel videos, and nah, man, I picked up my phone immediately. It's one thing about us talking about this shit every day, but I feel like somebody had to take action. I mean, it ain't really that bad either. If CPS find out it ain't no case, they gonna drop the case. But if they find that it is a case, then maybe I did do the right thing. One day, Miss Shirley gonna find this video and she gonna thank me one day. She had that little girl putting her boots on the ground. Goddamn it, I put my foot down. And don't judge me either, man. I was just looking out. Shit, if anything were to happen to that little girl and all of us grown ups was just sitting there watching and didn't say shit, goddamn it, I see everybody out.
For a miserable mother to call DHS on me about my child that's well taken care of. Y'all are sick.
All right, so that's little Shirley's mama. That's little Miss Shirley's mama. Y'all heard what the man who turned her in had to say. Now, I don't think the issue at hand, mama Miss Shirley, is the fact that she's well taken care of. Okay, I don't think that's the issue. The issue is that she's overexploited, that she's in adult, that she's performing at adult venues, and adults, grown men and women, are seen picking this little girl up and engaging with her, and that can be very dangerous. There are psychos out here, there are pedos out here, especially when you're posting that she's going to be performing in certain places. You have people who are R-worders and who are olesters who show up to these same places and events knowing that she's going to be there. And what's to say that she can't get snatched or anything could happen to her? And I'm not saying that the mother don't watch her as she should, but you have to take all of that into accountability. She is very young. She's only 4 years old. Most 4-year-olds, they they're very inviting sometimes to some people that can be very nice to them. Most people who are pedos are very nice to children because they have other alternatives. So you have to be very careful, and you have to be very what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a hover mom, very protective of your child and not put them in situations that could harm them. Okay, and I'm not saying that she's not a great mother, but what I am saying is it's not about the fact that she's well taken care of. Obviously, we can look at her and tell she dressed well. She looks like she's not missed a meal. She looks like, according to your home that you're filming in, that she's raised in a very nice, clean home. We're not talking about that, but we are talking about the safety of your daughter. And people are starting to see that may not be a thing. So they did contact CPS. And again, I do not agree with people just willy-nilly calling CPS just because. But if a person see that they, may see something that they want something looked into, then that is what it is. Okay. If you don't have shit to hide, I'm not sure why all this cussing in front of your daughter, mind you, because this live was recorded in front of your daughter while you're saying motherfucker and all these other adult egregious types of language in front of her. She's only 4. So I feel like little Miss Shirley is being subjected to too much at her age. And other people are starting to see it, and it's making mama mad because it's cutting into mama money. Little Shirley gets paid to perform at said venues. So if she's not performing, mama ain't getting no check. So with CPS looking into it, they may have told her she can't perform anymore until said investigation is over, which means mama ain't getting that money. So mama is mad and on social media lashing out because of that. Okay, mom might need to get a job. Mom might need to get a job. Okay,
y'all are
continue, honey. We're not gonna look at all of that, so y'all can see Miss Shirley's Dance Universe OnlyFans page. So someone was thinking that it was an OnlyFans. They were like, hold up, because y'all know what OnlyFans is, honey. It's people on there that's taking their clothes off and doing all types of stuff. So it says here, Wu said the internet detectives are out in full force, and apparently reading is fundamental has skipped a generation or two for some. Says to everyone clutching their pearls and screeching that Miss Shirley's mom started an OnlyFans page of her, maybe, just maybe, do a little something called research before you let your imaginations run wild. Said that screenshot clearly says Miss Shirley's Dance Universe OnlyFans page, which is a Facebook group, says or fans. Okay, so I think someone may.
It's so nice to meet you.
Okay, this is her doing the boots on the ground, the line dance. This is little Miss Shirley, honey, doing the boots on the ground. And I don't see any children there. Again, only adults. She's around adults all the time. She's very grown for her age. She's cute as a button. No, not mine. If I had a 4-year-old, you're not twisting your butt. You're not doing that. You're not doing any of that. And a lot of people think that's cute. I do not. I'm sorry. I do not think it's cute. I don't think that's cute. I think the dance is cute, but that part right there, she's too young with the gyre. And I've seen her doing the gyrating this right here. What you doing this for at 4? Where you learn this? Mama done taught you some shit you should not know at 4. See, mama, you teaching her to roll her back at 4, okay? And at 14, she gonna be rolling that same back with a boy on top of her. So you might want to look into that, okay? All right, let's get off Miss Shirley. Let's get into this damn interview, child, because I'm tired. All right, damn it. So let's get on into it because the interview is like 30 something minutes long, and I want to make sure that we can get into all of it. Shout out to Bro Chad. I had a conversation with him this morning, and he is fully aware that I'm going to be sharing this interview with him and the Bro Chats with Miss Wanda. So shout out to Bro Chat for allowing me to use the footage and giving me the okay on that. Okay, cool dude. If y'all not following Bro Chat, please get over there because he is all of that. Okay, he is all. Every time I talk to him, he is just so bubbly and so full of joy. Love me some damn Bro Chat. Bro Chat, if you're watching me this morning, shout out to you. Okay, let's get into it. Let's go and make the devil all the way mad. All right, so let's get into it. Boom.
So, Miss Wanda, you're one of the most talked about cast members.
I will be stopping and giving commentary in between, guys, so be patient with me, okay?
On Love and Marriage Huntsville.
I have not been posting yet because I don't have somebody hashed my internet somehow. I don't know.
People either loved you or hated you, right? Let's not say hate. Didn't like you, didn't like you. That's just the way life goes, right? There were rumors that.
All right, this is Damien. Damien is a producer, or was a producer for Love and Marriage Huntsville before Kingdom Reigns Entertainment through Carlos King, okay? Yeah, so let's go.
Mel and the Millimeters didn't want you on the show anymore, and they put pressure on production. That's not talking about a kid, in my opinion. You saying go find your baby daddy. To me, that's not talking about a child.
Miss Wanda, you're being accused of setting up Anthony for when he arrived that he'd get beat up.
I don't care about you talking about me because you don't know me.
A woman came forward and said she was sexually involved with your daughter's husband, Marsau Scott.
Hey, okay, I like the intro. Let's go, Shaq.
Bye.
I'm Mitch. I'm the creator of Bro Chat.
Hi,
and
Mitch.
these are my bros. We are so happy to have you.
I'm so glad to be part of you guys.
We've been talking about you quite a bit and how we're excited to talk with you. I feel like you got a lot to say, right?
Now, damn, you know I have a whole lot to say. Whatever y'all want to hear, I'm here for it.
Well, let's get into it.
So, Miss Wanda, you're one of the most talked about cast members on Love and Marriage Huntsville, and the bros, we're so happy to have you. But before we dive into Love and Marriage Huntsville, we have to talk about your business, your food truck. What inspired you to start this venture, start your food truck?
When my mom passed away 7 years ago, she always cook. So I wanted to keep the memories going on. So I always she's the best chicken cooker you ever wanted. I can't get the chicken like her. I can't get the cornbread like her, but I got those potatoes. So I'm doing chicken, potatoes. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm just throwing out. Even I'm gonna just throw some out there. Living rice. A lot of people don't like living rice, but
I've never had lemon rice.
You never had living rice?
No, I haven't. That sounds good.
Baby, Mitch. Woo-hoo. It is the bomb. You need to come to Alabama and try it.
Yeah.
Yes. But my potatoes is blooming out here in Alabama. I have all type. I got one that called Take Me Back to Bessemer. Oh my God. And the reason why I even Take Me Back to Bessemer because I'm thinking about all the stuff my mom used to cook in Bessemer, Alabama, right? So I said, take me back to Bessemer. So y'all know Bessemer is spelled Bessmer, but I spelled it Bessma. So I said, take me back to Bessemer, like mom at the end, okay?
Oh, yes.
Got you.
So yes, so that's why I got to take me back to Bethmont. But it is doing great. I'm at just about all the events, and I have not been posting yet because I don't have somebody hashed my internet somehow. I don't know what happened, but yeah.
So where can people get updates? Where can people get updates on your food truck? Like where are you going to be throughout the week?
Oh, that's what I was saying, that they hatched my all my paperwork and stuff that I was doing my live on. That's why y'all have not seen me being live here lately, because I've been hatched a lot. So
your Instagram.
Yeah, my page have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you get that back,
but
you'll
I
post.
got everything up and running now.
Mm.
I got everything up and running now. I got everything taken care of yesterday. So y'all gonna be hearing a lot of me. But yeah, I be through the Fairfield area. That's here in Alabama.
Mhm.
And I also be in Bessemer a whole lot. All the events that they have here in Bessemer in Birmingham area. So yeah, I will be throughout. But if I go to Huntsville, it's a special order.
Okay.
I got to fight with Marsau.
Mm.
He'll put my truck on his lot.
Yeah, at Black.
Exactly.
Right.
Because he think his cooks back there can outdo me, but he know if I come down there, I'm gonna outdo his cook, so he gonna want me, you know.
Ah, that makes sense. Okay. Wanda, you know, you and I, for those that don't know, you and I worked together
Sure.
at the beginning when Love and Marriage really first started. And people, I'm just gonna be real with it. People either loved you or hated you, right? Let's not say hate. Didn't like you, didn't like you. That's just the way life goes, right? And the way
Right.
this reality TV thing goes. But you were, for me and a lot of us, a favorite on that show. And then it feels like you just kind of slowly fizzled out. So explain to us what happened, because there were rumors that Mel and the Millimeters didn't want you on the show anymore, and they put pressure on production. And then, so I want to hear from you. What do you think happened to where we haven't seen you the last few seasons?
Well, right after the Madani thing, the fight at Madani, they put all the pressure on me.
Child.
And my thing was I was invited there from day one from Destiny. And then the show knew I was going to be there. So they said no. They called me like a day before the event and told me, well, we need you to film. So my thing was, Destiny was like, well, we don't have anyone there that sell food. So after her event, I knew the cast was going to be there. So she was like, I just want you to come down and I want you to sell whatever, you know. I said, do you want me to do soul food? Do you want me to do finger foods or whatever? So she was like, whatever you.
Let me stop. Why is it one can never do an interview without speaking about Mel or subliminally bringing her up? Okay. I'm not understanding that. I've not heard her yet take accountability. She's skipping all over, dancing, boots on the ground, all around the question where they asked her, why is it that they didn't want you here on the show or whatever happened? You did not mention that you ran your chunky ass across that parking lot and put hands on Melody, which ultimately got you fired from the show. That's why you were fired. It had shit to do with the millimeters. We had nothing to do with it. It had everything to do with you putting your hands on someone, which is something you were not supposed to do. And the person you put the hands on was not going to allow you to get away with that and still continue to film on the show with her. Let's continue.
You wants to do. So I'm like, okay. So I decided to do a little soul food and finger food at the same time. Mm-hmm. So at that time when I got there, a day before I got there, they was telling me they want me to film. Mm-hmm. And that was not on the mental, you know, for me to do.
Right, on the
so I said, okay, fine. That's fine. And right after I was there, me, my cousin, my brother, my sister-in-law, all of us was setting up because that's what I want to do anyway. So we was out there setting up. And so like a lot of people like, Marsau didn't even stop to help her. You know, y'all see when Marsau walked past. I was like, well, he was coming up to film. And I had enough people to set up. So it wasn't like he was just walking past me. Not, you know, whatever. So after that happened, I'm out there just getting everything ready. And I don't know that y'all know that the Scotts was there, not the Scotts from Love and Marriage Huntsville, but the Scotts from Tatessa. Y'all know Tatessa Scott?
Contessa from Married to Medicine?
Contessa Scott.
Tatessa. Who is Tatessa?
On Love and Hip Hop.
Jesus.
Only Contessa I know is Married to Medicine.
Contessa. Yes, her.
Yeah, Dr.
Her.
Contessa.
She was there.
Oh, I didn't know she was there.
Look at bitch.
Yeah, so she came out.
Jesus.
And I guess she came out to show some support to Destiny. And she was getting ready to leave, so she brought a thing of my seasoning.
Show enough seasoning.
Show enough, Miss
Wanda. We gotta say it.
Yeah, shout it out.
Yes, it
Gee.
is delicious. I'm gonna have to send you some. I'm gonna have to send y'all some. So after this interview, y'all make sure y'all inbox me y'all address so I can send y'all some and
Okay.
try it for yourself.
Yes. Love it.
So to get back to how I got taken off the show for those length of time, I was mad, but it's okay now. I was out there cooking, waiting on everybody to get through, and then after looking at the show, I heard Melody say, "Oh, Miss Wanda here." She came in front of me about some old stuff
Child.
that I said on my live Facebook.
Crazy.
And she would ask me, I heard that you said this right here about certain person that I don't have, who would find my baby dad or something. I didn't even think that I was even talking about the baby serious. I did not. I was not. If I had thought that I was actually talking about the baby, I would have went another route. But when she came in front of me,
whoa. Pump the brake on the food truck right quick, okay? Wanda, let's go ahead and debunk this lie, sis, okay? You know that you were talking about Melody's child. You also said it when Maurice was holding you back inside Madani, because you said, and I mean that, and I know the person that she was laying with, and I know the person that is the daddy, and it ain't Martell, and I do mean that, and not verbatim, but that's along the lines of what you were saying, and Maurice was even trying to pipe you down, and you continue to say it. So you were speaking on Sugar Mama, and you were definitely speaking on the paternity of her child. And I know everybody saw.
I mean, it's just like, I was not expecting it to happen, right?
Girl.
So she came so fast. She was like, what you had to say? No, first she was talking to my cousin Bernard. Y'all know Bernard. He was on the show.
Right.
So my thing is to keep him from getting in trouble. I went directly to her myself. I said, no, I heard you got a problem with me. No, he don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with you because I knew if he had broke off with something, it's gonna be chaos out there. So I'm like trying to be the one that straightened up everything, but I guess that didn't happen either.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, well, what the problem that you have with me? And I said, well, I have a problem with you because I never did like the Melody. Y'all. I'm just gonna keep it real. Ever since she had a scene with Tisha, sit down scene with Tisha, and Tisha asked her, well, you never gave me no type of what the word I want to say, gratitude, or like, I'm sorry that your grandmother passed, your sister, your auntie passed. And Tisha was like explaining that to her. Well, I felt like you was wrong because of that. And she stood there with a glass in her mouth and laughed about it.
I remember that. She had no sympathy.
And I was like, and ever since then, I just started disliking her.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there done something to me because I don't think.
So we all know how Wanda does when she don't like people, okay? Wanda does not let these things go, okay? Let's use me for an example. I just get on here and do my commentary to, talk about the things that I've seen that Wanda's been a participant of, meaning, let's use an example, like the way she talked about her niece Kiki. Whenever I spoke about that, she really went into a whirlwind of wanting to try to read and drag me because I was telling the truth. I even show receipts. Y'all know most of the time that I'm talking about something, most if not all the time, I'm going to show a receipt on what I'm talking about. But Wanda has made up her mind. She don't like me. Why? Because I'm probably one of the most realest, and I'm going to always be one of the trillest to tell the fucking truth about her daughter, and anybody else that's attached to her. She don't like it. She don't like when you do that. So when she make up her mind that she don't like you, it's forever in my Cardi B voice. Okay, fuck a gratitude. Does Tisha show Melody gratitude? No, she does not. She waited in that same conversation and turned around and openly said something about Melody and Martell's infidelity in their marriage, and also brought up Ariane. So it's given that Tisha never really liked Melody as well, that she was waiting for an opportunity to be able to put her business out there and read her if she did not kiss her ass. And that's what it was. You were mad. Tisha was mad because Melody didn't kiss her ass in that moment. Maybe she could have said, my condolences to you for your grandmother, Anna, whoever it was that passed away. But maybe she didn't feel like it at the time. Maybe she didn't want to be fake at the time. So because of that, and here you come again, Wanda. You don't like her, so that's what you do. And Wanda comes off as being very calculating when she don't like a person, like when you ask Anthony Lofties to come down to Besma, or AKA Alabama, for said situation. We're gonna get into that in a minute because you never let that go when he talked about Tisha. That's how Wanda is. She hold on to stuff and she use it when it's convenient for her. And that's what you did to him. And not to take up for him, but I'm just showing examples of how she moves and what she does. Let's continue.
And you had to say, well, I am sorry that your family member had passed away and this and that. But that made me play the different part of who she really are. You know what I'm saying? I did not know Melanie was like that type of person, but I know that's part of was, stopped me from being on the show because of what I said behind it.
No. What stopped you from being on the show is when you put your hands on her. You also put a scratch on Melody's back. Did you talk about that? Yeah, that was a real thing. When you grab Melody to try to fight her, Miss Van, and I could show the video right now if I want to. When you ran across there and you snuck Melody from the back. Melody was turned this way talking to someone. You snuck her from the back and grabbed her and proceeded to try to fight her. And when you grabbed her, you scratched her on her back. She could have filed a charge on you for that because that is assault. And I'm pretty sure production and maybe Carlos and them had a conversation with her to maybe stop her from doing so, which could have saved your ass from being in jail, or which did save you from being in jail because you did assault her. We saw that on camera. So the fact that you are still years later not holding yourself accountable for that means to me you're not sorry for what you did and that you would do that shit again if the opportunity presented itself. That's what it gives. You're still not holding yourself accountable. You snuck this her. Ran across there and hit her, grabbed her, and had to be pushed off her. So all of a sudden now it's still her fault. Let's child.
After she had that scene, I went on my live and called her everything but a child of God.
Sure
okay,
did.
I did do that.
You sure did.
I did do that because that was a hurting feeling to see someone sit on a national TV platform to sit down and smile behind a death. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it could have been said another way. So from that day to this day, I dislike her for that. So
Miss Wanda,
speaking,
Miss Wanda, we have to also mention, you were responding to Melody with Melody said that Tisha's dad was in her DMs. Melody did say that, and you were responding to that.
Boom.
Yeah, I won't get to that. That's what I was saying. And then when the fight broke off, she made a statement. She made this statement on Carlos King thing. She made this statement that the reason why I said what I said, she need to go find her baby daddy. Because her statement was, I didn't know what child she was talking about exactly right then and there. So I just cut off the screen when she said that. Go find her. She said one of her baby daddies was in my DM. And I'm like, which one of my baby daddies? So I'm on the phone calling my ex-husband, right? Because I'm thinking it was him. So I didn't hear the rest of it when she came back and said, ask Tisha, it's her baby, it's her daddy. I didn't hear that part. So after the next.
So had you not jumped the gun and cut off the screen, as you called it, and sat your ass there like a grown-up and got all the information before you start calling around and accusing people of shit, then you would have known that before the fight broke off. Y'all, I'm messy. I'm going to be messy this entire fucking interview because she sat up here and lied her ass off. She sat up here and lied her ass off. And I know she's going to be mad. I don't give a fuck this morning because Wanda, it's the audacity of you to sit up there on that damn funeral home furniture and lie your ass off in this damn interview, knowing good and damn well we can go back and pull footage. We can pull footage. Melody was on Carlos King's show. Okay, Reality with the King, and Carlos asked her a question, and she said, Melody said, not verbatim, ask Tisha is her baby daddy, and she was referring to the fact that Tisha's daddy, who is a pastor, Pastor Bester, let's go and say his name, was in Melody's DMs trying to holler at her because he like young women. He got a young baby. I done told y'all, a little baby named Journey. I know my homework. He got a little girl named Journey. That's probably 8 or 9 years old. So Tisha got an 8 or 9 year old sister from a younger girl. He liked young girls. So when he saw Melody, he tried to shoot a shot in the DMs. And when Melody said it on national television, it made Wanda mad because how dare her baby daddy be interested in Melody? It was slapping the face to her because it made her feel like she was maybe less than, because she's always looked at Melody as up here. And when her baby daddy was looking up here, that pissed her the fuck off. Let's continue.
Next day, after I went off. Right. So I said, now how in the hell she gonna tell me to go find my baby? I mean, ask me. I mean, my baby daddy was in her DM. Which one of my baby daddies? You know what I'm saying? I have 3 kids. Tisha have her own daddy because, like I said, I got pregnant with Tisha when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So me and Tisha dad had never been married. We just had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, me and my mom raised Tisha. Her daddy was in her life, but shortly after high school, he went into service. And he got married right after that. And I haven't talked to him since,
So let me be a little messy because you love to talk about my husband who doesn't have but one child, and that's with me, his wife. Okay. The one who never goes out and messes with anyone, who's not on social media with anyone. Okay. But you out here with your legs open at 14, 15, and 16 years old and had a whole child with a man who didn't even see enough for you to be around with you and this child like he was supposed to, because mine be here every day, all day. Okay. My husband is here. All right. He didn't even think enough of you to wife you up, but he left to go into the military and found someone else and marry them. And you have 3 baby daddies? Say it ain't so. Because you really try to up and talk about me and mine. The audacity. Ooh, girl. Girl. Let me find out that your mama had to be your baby daddy. Get mad.
Still communicate because we got a child together. So when she said he was in, that was not even my concern at all about him being in her DM. I care nothing about that. Me and him have not been together in 40 some years. Okay. I mean, intimate together in 40 some years. Right. So that was not my bigger thing. The bigger thing is how you said it, how you present it out there. Like, T-Man is my baby. So when you said baby dad, I'm thinking, just like she thought when I said, go find your baby daddy, she was thinking I'm talking about the baby, right? But I really was talking about the baby that she had avoided, that Martell said that she got rid of.
Yeah.
She didn't, but since she said, well, I got it, he right here, since they were saying that I was talking about the other one, I said, hey, I heard he wasn't the baby dad either. But so that's what all that came about.
That's not talking about a kid, in my opinion. You saying go find your baby daddy. That's, to me, that's not talking about a child.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But they said that's talking about a baby. That's the only thing I said. From that day, it took it over the hill. Oh, she on the top.
You continue to talk about Melody's kids because you also referenced their hair. You also said you didn't want Tisha's kids to do any sleepovers in Melody's house because you think that Melody's kids would be jealous and cut off Tisha's kids' hair because they had longer hair than Melody's kids. You didn't say that, Wanda? You didn't say that. Even Carlos corrected you at the reunion. I was shocked because Carlos was saying, at first he was saying, I don't have kids, so I don't know what they're talking about. And I was saying to myself, you don't have to have fucking kids to be able to check somebody who's talking about somebody else's. I said that. So that it wasn't just one time when you referenced Melody's kids. It's been that ever since you made up in your mind, Wanda, that you didn't like Melody. So it was always up and stuck towards Melody. Whatever it was, you found a reason not to like her. Every time you went live, you were talking about Melody. Every time you went on YouTube, you were talking about Melody. Every time you driving around in that car back in the backwoods, you were talking about and referencing Melody. You could be talking about your food truck, and somewhere in that damn live, you're going to still talk about Melody. Yeah, and we're still talking about Melody, and she ain't on fucking show no more. Let's continue. Right here ain't feeling it. I'm gonna say it right now. Down here is not feeling this interview. Keep watching his mannerisms, his everything about him. He is not feeling this fucking interview. You can tell he don't want to fucking be here. All right. He ain't here for the shit.
About the baby daddy. She over there talking about her baby. Right. She over there talking about the girl baby. And I'm like, oh my God, are y'all serious?
Yeah.
Because I said, go find your baby daddy. I'm talking. So at that point, she said she didn't want to have no more dealing with me. She didn't want to film with me anymore.
No, there we go.
Because I said that. And that's how I ended up getting taken off the show. Either going to be me or her.
Oh,
well, speaking on
we know who it was not going to be, and that's why she's mad. You thought Carlos was going to choose you over Melody? The person who paid for the pilot of the show, the person who pitched the show, the person who is the star and the fan favorite of the show. You thought that? You got mad and went on a whole windmill on this woman because you thought that Carlos, who you tried to befriend and thought that you was so far up his ass that he was going to choose you over the star of his show, who he sat on Messy Monday and said was the star of his show and that the show don't tick unless she's on there. We about to see how much ticking it's going to do if the show come back. Let's continue.
Melody for a second. Whether you hate or like Melody, she's obviously had an impact in the show.
Boom.
Being that first person who had that idea. And now we see her at the end of last season, she's exited the show. Do you think that her exit is going to have an impact on the viewership and the show's future?
Sure.
Yeah.
The show itself.
This new
Mhm.
season.
No, I think they got some good peoples there now. I think that they always have had the peoples there. They just didn't highlight them as higher than they was doing Melanie, because Melanie had a big follower.
Mhm.
She had a huge follower. Of course, they're gonna look at the follower, okay? Because that's what make a show just about. But I think the people that they got there now, and the way they're gonna set everything off, I can't tell you about it, but the way everything is going, I think y'all still gonna love and Marriage Huntsville even more.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's gonna be the bomb. Okay, I actually think that Tisha, Marsau, Kimmy, Maurice,
You.
You.
Martell, Trish, her husband Destiny. I think they're gonna carry a big part, and y'all gonna love this show, this new show, Love and Marriage Huntsville with Dot Melanie. I think it's gonna be the bomb.
Great.
And y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna love what they got to bring. And of course, they bringing Wanda back.
Oh, we're done.
Back. So yeah.
This is my excited face. Let's continue.
Y'all know me and Marsau never seen eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna leave that
Well,
there.
I actually have a question about that. So obviously, with Love and Marriage Huntsville, what I find about the show specifically is that many shows have all this drama on screen, but with Love and Marriage Huntsville, this spaces like these right here is where half of the drama comes from. We see all of these interviews and so much drama comes from them. And in an interview with Martell and Ariane, a woman came forward and said she was sexually involved with your daughter's husband, Marsau Scott. You've been vocal about calling out cheaters on the show. Do you believe this woman who came forward?
That's part of something that I will be talking about on this show. So I'm not gonna tell y'all too much of that. But yes,
a little hint. A little hint. A little tease.
Well, I will say, do I think Marsau and the girl is intimate? My thing was, it was a lot of lying going on that I just couldn't take. I couldn't take the lying part. But I did get involved. I got all the way into that ass. Okay, I don't know if I can say ass, but yeah, I got into Marsau ass on there for that. So, but it was a lot of lying going on. She had just been truthful
on her
with
part.
everything she was saying.
On the alleged mistress part, you think there's a lot of lying on her part? Okay.
On her part, you know, when she was, I mean, a lot of things seemed like it was school to me, or like it was staged, you know. Yes, it was coached through. Like, I need for you to say this right here to make it seem good or make it look good.
So even if they coached her, she was given details that only she would know if she was in said place. She described credit one to a T. How it looked when you first come in. When you come in, there's a round table there. She wasn't coached in that because I covered the interview. She wasn't coached into that. She wasn't coached on what chairs they were on. She described that place to a T, and she talked about how Maurice sat guard at the front so nobody else would come in and come back there and disturb Marsau and Shan. I'm gonna call names, Marsau and Shan, from back there with her ass up in the air and doing whatever else they were doing. She said they were on the table back there doing what they were doing. They were doing it in chairs. So y'all know Wanda don't ever want Tisha to have any type of negative anything going on and in terms of the marriage. even though her son-in-law and daughter just did a live not too long ago, because I covered that as well, saying they've had indiscretions and infidelities in their marriage, and that they're going to be showing this season that they're going to be going to therapy. Never mind the fact that they've been separated numerous times. Why were they separated? Even Shan said when she met Marsau that he didn't even have a ring on. Wanda, that's something that you kept harping about on the show, about Marsau not wearing his ring. So these are things, it's like a puzzle that's connecting. You're trying to debunk the fact that your son-in-law has stepped down and disrespected and embarrassed the fuck out of your daughter when we're looking at this right now. Let's continue, child.
Good. And my thing is, I can pick all those little, because, you know, my mama always used to tell us, I'm not a chicken, you can't pick me. You know what I'm saying? You know, we pick chicken back in the days, pluck them, you know, pluck them. Right. So my mama always said, I'm not a chicken, you can't pick me. So yes, what she was doing was they was picking, they were plucking at her, but she didn't have enough evidence for me. What y'all think?
Well, listen, when I was watching Miss Wanda, I wanted her to show proof, show a text message, show this, show that, show something. Because listen, that supports her story, but she didn't have any of that. All evidence. She had were her words, all by itself.
Well, that's exactly what I was saying too. Even with the picture of his back at the hotel, y'all know I got at him about that.
Wanda, you presented that to Tisha to say, look at Marsau, what is this? Did you know about this? You brought that to Tisha on the show. So now you sitting up debunking something that you entertained. You were following Marsau because you thought he had a woman in the car, which says that you think he cheated. Am I just saying something, y'all? Wanda, is she losing it? Is early Alzheimer's setting in with you, Wanda? These are things that you presented and showed to the public, to the show. And now you sitting in this interview like everybody's lying on your daughter when you're presenting evidence to her of this man cheating. Child.
So I don't know, did they show that part when I said, hell, the damn show look like your damn big ass back?
I think so.
I don't know, did they show that part or not? Because I think they did. A whole lot.
And Wanda, you the one that told your daughter if Marsau cheat, put him out for a while, and when he get his shit together, let him move back in. So you're teaching her that you got to do what you need to do to keep a man. Okay, let him do what he needs to do, and when he stop doing what he's doing, let him come back. Let's not even think about what he might be bringing back, because he did only date your daughter 1 month exclusively before marrying her. And I feel like that was benefiting him more so than her, because at the end of the day, he didn't have shit going on because he was working down at the movie theater. She's the one that was going to school. She's the one that was working as, in a call center, pretty good job, making pretty good little bit of money. He won't do a shit. And I feel like he attached himself to her because he knew that. And I feel like he's still doing what he was doing before he actually got with her. Child.
But yeah, because when I go on my live, I be spearing all the beans out here, but I know they got on us about talking about, what's going on the show, and especially with my little niece Kiki, what happened with her, talking to bloggers about what's actually going on. Yeah. So now that Mel is gone, hey, I don't see a lot of that. Talking to the blog about what's actually going on, and the show been going on now.
So it was Mel's fault that people were talking about what was going on the show. It was Mel's fault that people was getting on social media and on their platforms and talking about what was going on the show before it aired. See how she tried to throw that in there? Girl.
Almost 7-8 months, and we don't hear that much what's going on. I mean, I know I got crossed up inviting a blogger to one of my events that, like I said, once again, there was an event that I was having. Love and Marriage Huntsville did not know anything about. I was having my own event. And I don't know, have y'all heard, but I know y'all heard about the AL thing. That coming to one of my events.
There was a blogger, AL. Is that what you want me to call him? Because I call him AL. Did we say AL? Yeah. I'll say AL.
Okay, that's
Blogger
fine.
AL was invited to an event where the cast were filming. And allegedly, when he arrived, production was surprised that he was there, and they stopped filming because they didn't want him on camera.
I invited him to an event, but I was having that.
And it was not your place to do so because your ass was barely in the door. Your foot was barely in the door. So Wanda then came back on this show and she really feels like she is really like maybe running things now. That Melody is gone. She's stepping up like she running shit. She feeling like she might be Melody or somebody on the show now. She trying to be producing. So who gives you the authority to be inviting people on set? And then when they get there, our production is kind of side-eyeing them like, what they doing here? Because you're having an event that's going to be filmed on the show. You don't have the jurisdiction to do so. Let's continue.
That I didn't even know Love and Marriage Huntsville was going to film it, okay?
Right.
I had already planned to have me this grand open. But since they called me a couple days before my event was going on, they called me and said, hey, we want to catch that on the film, right?
Right.
I was like, okay, what day y'all want to do it? And so they gave me a day during the week. I was going to do mine on that weekend. So, which I still done it, but I'm going to do it on that week. So I called him back. I called Anthony while I was talking to my friend Marcella. I was talking to my friend, and me and her was talking about, I was asking her, I said, girl, I was telling her about my event was going to happen on that Saturday. But since they said they're going to film on that Wednesday, so I was like, okay, that'll be fine. You know, most everybody's at work and everything. We don't do that to business. So if they're going to film, we're going to do it on a day. They did it on a day that they know it wasn't going to be too crowded. So I was like, that's fine. And I called Marcella as soon as I found out that they was going to film, which was that's probably the next day. I called my friend Marcella. I said, girl, they're going to film me on Wednesday. I said, can you come down? She was like, Wednesday? She said, that's like 2 days from now. I said, yeah. I said, I know. I'm just letting you know, giving you a head up. I said, anyway, call Anthony, tell Anthony to come. Tell him to come. So she said, hold on a moment. When she told me to hold on, she didn't tell me she was going to call Anthony. She just said, Anthony, Miss Wanda wants you to come down to certain thing. And so that's how they all started. But I really wanted to tell her. I didn't give her as.
All right. So again, you did not have the authority to call and ask Marcella to be on the show. Nothing against Marcella, but Marcella's not a part of the show. You didn't have authority to ask Marcella to come down and be on the show as well to film with you. Was that clear through production? Was that clear through Kingdom Reigns Entertainment? Was that clear through Carlos King? Because this is not your show. You are clearly brought back. Why? I don't know. But you were brought back to film scenes for the show. So you don't get to call all your friends and people who you cool with to come on this show and film with you for whatever reason. That's why production was looking like, what the fuck is this? That's not your place because you barely getting on the show.
Exactly a time. I just gave her a date. Okay, so when she called him, I was still on the phone. So of course I'm just gonna like not make it look obvious that I'm like, okay, so hey, can you come down to my grand open I'm having and blah blah this and blah blah that. He said, when? I said it's gonna be on Wednesday. And I gave him the time and everything because they never gave me a time. They never gave me a time. So a day later, they called and gave me a time. I called Anthony back and I said, hold on, let me give you a time and everything. I said, inbox me or call me and I would text you everything because I don't want nobody to think that you just walking, that you just came there. Right. I want you to know that I'm inviting you, but I want you, just in case you run into it.
But you don't have that kind of pull to be doing that, Wanda, because you're just being brought back. You were suspended and or fired from the show. So they're taking a chance on you. And then you just get back on the show and just start inviting people. All willy-nilly like you running shit. Like, no, ma'am.
The cast member, whatever. I invited you. I didn't want him to think that he was just all by himself, that he just popped up there. So that's exactly what they thought. So when producer called me out there, he was standing right there. Anthony was walking up. And after I gave Anthony a hug and everything, I said, well, welcome. I said, I didn't expect it to be so quick, but okay, it's fine. But anyway, to make a long story short, producer walked up to me then, and he said, why is he here? I said, who? Because I had a couple more people out there. I'm like, who? He said, Anthony. I said, I invited him. from day one, I told him I invited him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he got on his platform and say that I lied to them, and I lied, making everybody thinking I'm crazy, because what he did was when he came, he knew they didn't want him there, but I did not know they didn't want him there.
He was being messy.
I'm having a fan with the show, back on the show. I didn't know him and producer had a
Anthony
has
a,
you know what I'm
Anthony
saying?
has a
I did
history
not
of
know that.
spoiling the episodes. So
I knew about all of that, but I did not know that him and producer was in it.
That's a lie. Anthony, and not taking up for Anthony, but Anthony showed on his platform receipts of conversation between Wanda and Anthony, okay, prior to him even going to Huntsville for this event. So Wanda, you knew that something was going on between the two of you, or between Anthony not being able to come to the show. You knew of prior situations where Anthony was involved in, where he was really not welcome on set, so to speak, that production probably would not have welcomed him to said environment. You knew that, but you also had alternative motive, because you spoke about that as well, in terms of saying that you really invited him there, not verbatim, but you really invited him there because your family wanted to confront Anthony for what he had been saying about your daughter and their family in terms of Kiki as well. So really it was a setup. He wasn't coming there really to be tasting no potatoes. That's what you used to lure him there. And your family, according to you, because you said it in a live, was waiting around the corner and maybe the bushes in the park where said event was being taking place. And they were supposed to be confronting, maybe jumping him, maybe fighting him, maybe whatever the case may be. But now, since the bloggers have picked it up and talked about it, she's saying, no, they weren't going to fight him. No, they weren't going to put hands on him. That's what it was for. Because how are we going to control that? Wanda got a lot of people in her family. So to say that these people were waiting in bushes to confront Anthony, mind you, he was there by himself. Again, not to take up for him, but again, he was there by himself and did not know that he was going to be approached by your family. Did you tell him? Did you tell him that your family was there to approach him about what was said about Kiki, your family, Tisha, etc.? You didn't do that because it was a setup. Let's continue.
You know, because the way he was talking, if you listen to his shows, he was like telling the people that he got an in-house connected, like if he was dating someone on that filming crew. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was thinking. He was dating somebody on the filming crew. That's how he got all this in-house connection.
Right.
Well, Miss Wanda,
regardless, you set him up to come there with the idea of coming to support you and your tasting for your potatoes, when that ain't really what it was. You brought him there to confront him about talking about you and your family, because again, you didn't really like Anthony, but you held on to that to lure him there, to make him feel like he's getting ready to get this big opportunity to maybe film a scene on the show, or to be maybe an extra or something on the show, or just by some chance get shown on the show by being there with you while you're filming. Let's continue.
Speaking on that type of thing, knowing things ahead of time and whether people know things or if they don't.
Wait, hold on.
Your daughter,
before,
Tisha.
I want you to ask that. But I want to know, Miss Wanda, you're being accused of setting up Anthony for when he arrived that he'd get beat up. Is that true? Did you set up Anthony?
Look at that face.
No, I did not. I would never do that to any human being, period.
Yeah, I don't see you.
Busted, because you said it on your live. Did y'all not see this? Thank you, Mitch. When he asked her the question, did y'all see Wanda's face? She knew she was busted. Did you see that little smile? And she started shaking her head like, oh shit, here we go. Let's continue. She busted.
Now my thing was, Anthony had a lot. I did say Anthony had a lot to say about what happened instead of telling the truth about what happened. I said, only thing I said, which I did have a lot of family members there, they wants to meet Anthony. They wants to talk to him because of the thing that was going on with him and Kiki and the thing that went on with me in the past. But to fight, to argue and all of that, no, they just want to meet him like in person. They never met him. So I'm like, yeah.
Let's stop. That's a motherfucking lie. If you had words, negative words about someone in your family, especially if said family member passed away, and y'all know how Anthony go in, okay? Y'all know how he go in. If he don't like you, if he reading you down, you know Anthony does not hold back. So the things that he was saying, even when he went in and you found out about it, Wanda, it pissed you off. And you thought about what opportunity could I use to get Anthony to come to Alabama. When you told your family this, when they saw this, they had already made up in their mind what it was. It was up and stuck. I'm pretty sure some of them wanted to put the Paul's feet and hands on Anthony. So they used that opportunity. Why were they hiding? If they wanted to talk to Anthony, why were they not in a place where Anthony was? Why were they not there where he could see them? Why were they hiding in the park? Why were they hiding in the park? If somebody want to meet me in person, what the fuck you hiding in the park for? If I'm going to be over here by the, if I'm over here by the swings and by the playground area, why are you hiding in the park if you just can't wait to meet me? It's given it was going to be an ambush. And you could tell by the, look right here, Mitch. Look at Mitch. Mitch looking like, bitch, you fucking lying. Let's continue.
He'll be here, you know. But my family wanted to talk to him, but not to fight or to do anything. It was like just two of my family. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a whole bunch of my family just sitting out in the woods like people betrayed it to be. I said, to be honest with y'all, and I talked to one of the bloggers, I said, to be honest, my family just wanted to talk to him. And it was not happening.
Why you couldn't talk on the phone? Because you had plenty of conversations with Anthony on the phone. Why you couldn't three-way? If your family wanted to talk to him and approach him about what was said and or done or something they did not like in terms of what he said on his platform, why you couldn't call him on the phone and say, hey, let's do a three-way, Anthony. Here's my family right here. They want to confront you about this. Let's talk about it. No, you wanted a face-to-face because you wanted to see Anthony probably get his ass beat, or a confrontation so you can sit back and laugh or maybe video it, because you are known to film things that you're not supposed to be filming, like accidents when you're passing by and putting them on your platform. Yeah, you wanted to see something pop off. You wanted something to pop off. It wasn't about no fucking potatoes. It was not about no potatoes. Let's continue.
Have anything to get beat up,
but did they want to speak
set up, none of that. They were there and they did talk
Did they want to speak with Anthony? Because Anthony has had a history of also talking poorly about Tisha, talking poorly about Kiki. Do you think they want to confront him for things that he has said?
No, I didn't think they want to confront him about what he said about Tisha or what he said about me back in the past, or even Kiki, because we already knew that Kiki she's just like me. We got a mouth on us. But I think they want to meet him as a person because all the stuff that he have said.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, out of all the stuff Funky Dineva has said about me, I wanted to meet Funky Dineva. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to meet him, not to fight with him, not to argue with him, because at the beginning, he had a lot to say about Tisha. He had a lot to say about Marsau and everybody. So my thing is, when I heard all this stuff about Funky Dineva, I said, oh, I want to meet him and let him know my family is not the way you think they are. You know, we're not that type of bullets. We're not that type of people. So to keep the mess down, we did not want to meet AL about no fighting, about what he said about somebody. I can deal with anything because you don't know me. I don't care about you talking about me because you don't know me. It's a different story. You know I'm a hoe, and then you going out here saying, oh, she a hoe, she a hoe. Listen, I thought me and you friends, you shouldn't be out here talking about me like this. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know me, it's a lie. That's all I can look at. It's a lie, and I don't argue with a lie. I don't fight with a lie. Only time you're going to actually see me just get down in the mud with someone when they basically just tell a scandalous lie, you know, like a lie like that. I know that I went to bed with her. You know what I'm saying? Right. I know somebody.
You said it about my husband. You said you knew a woman that was seeing my husband and that this woman had been dating my husband, and you knew it was a motherfucking lie because you still have yet to bring this person to the internet. I'm going there this morning, bitch, because I'm so fucking tired of Wanda and her lies. Wanda will use shit for clickbait, and she will lie until her damn bun fall off. And you still have yet to bring this person. And I ain't even mad about it because I knew it was a fucking lie because I know my man like that. But for you to say, oh, if somebody lied and said that they slept with somebody, you did it to me. You did it to me. So why can't somebody say some shit like that about your daughter if they feel like it's true? That's what I'm saying. It's always two-sided with you, Wanda. Accountability does not reside near you. Accountability don't reside near you, baby. Let me just say this. At the end of the day, again, you were pretending to be friends with AL. Every time you went live, you would big him up like that was just your buddy. And I feel like you were trying to butter him up to make him feel like y'all were cool like that to get him to a situation that he could probably not get out of. This boy drove 2 hours, 2.5, I think, to come and under the guise of being supportive towards you, not knowing probably what he was getting himself into, because you had someone there to ambush him. I don't give a fuck if it was 2 people. It was one more person than who he was. He was outnumbered by another person, including you. And you knew that. And production didn't know he was coming. It was an ambush. You didn't tell him other family members were going to be there. Now you're sitting here deflecting and backpedaling. And I hope you ain't coochie popping, because I don't want to smell no mothballs in my interview this morning. I said it. Yeah, I said it.
I did this right here. That's a scandalous lie. Talking about me like something that you really don't know about. Now I'm gonna go in with you on that. But other than that, and then I let the truth be the truth.
Right.
Let it just rise. I knew he was telling the truth about what Kiki was saying. So I just want to talk to him about it. Why did you go out there? Why would you go out there and tell everybody Kiki said this? Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying?
Why would you talk shit about Kiki yourself, your own niece? Why would you talk shit about her? Why would you say, if you pass away, I ain't never come to your funeral and you ain't coming to mine? Why would you say that about your own niece? You don't have that same energy towards anybody when it comes to you. You can say whatever you want to say, but as soon as somebody else say almost what you say, it's a problem. It's a problem. AL might have said some nasty, crazy shit about your niece, but you said worse. And stood 10 toes on that shit until she passed away. Then you want to come back and all of a sudden nobody can say shit?
I mean, something like that right there should have been between you and her. Why did you open the doors up like the way you open the doors? And I felt like, and he's still doing it even with Ariana. He's still doing it. So my thing is, that's just who we are. So I mean, that's who he is. I'm not gonna argue and fight with him about who this person is. You know what I'm saying? Thirsty. So I just leave it alone and they can take it. Everybody else out there can take it the way they want to take it. I mean,
the one thing that Wanda was not counting on was when she was having all these conversations with AL, he's recording all that shit. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. Any conversation you have with him, any interaction, bitch, is gonna be fucking recorded. And he gonna keep it just in case you want to fucking try him. And that's exactly what happened when Wanda came out to try to say that such and such did not happen the way that it happened. He went right on his platform and showed the motherfucking receipts. The conversation, the text messages between you and him. The audio. He had audio and text messages of conversations between you and him and what you said and what he responded to. And you still sitting on this platform and lying. Again, not taking up for him, but I'm just saying receipts don't motherfucking lie.
It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't. But to set him up to fight with him, that is an absolutely no.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, just to think about for a second, knowing things ahead of production. Something your daughter Letitia spoke to Carlos King about is that she knew of the Revenge P content being spread around ahead of that premiere episode on season 8, where she and the cast were trying to get contact. She had already been privy to Martell doing that and that information. Some people are calling out Letitia online, saying that she was wrong not to tell Melody ahead of time and give her a heads up. What's your take on that stance and what people are saying?
Well, my thing is not to knowing that the truth is the truth until the truth came out. People can say a lot of things that, we got to tape out on someone. Why would I tell her that? And let me back it up. First of all, she didn't know it was true. She heard it, but not knowing the facts is totally different. Right. The second thing, her and Melanie is not even speaking at this time. So why should I go to someone and tell somebody something when I know that you dislike me? You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I know that you dislike me, I don't care what's going on out there in the street. I don't care what happened. You know what I'm saying? That's just who I am. So my thing is, if she basically told Tisha to go find out herself if Marsau was out there cheating. Okay, did y'all remember that?
So I also told Tisha to go down there if she want to know what your husband is doing. Go down there to the bar where they be, okay, and see what your husband is doing down at the bar. She gave her a whole hint of where he be and what he doing. Why? Because Martell was with him. Martell and Marsau was hanging out together. She told him verbatim, told Tisha verbatim, if you want to know what your husband is doing, go down there to the bar and see what he's doing. But Tisha got mad because Mel wouldn't give her every intricate detail of what her husband is doing when you should already know. It ain't Mel's job to babysit your husband and know where he is. You know where he be because it's a whole phone call of Tisha calling Marsau and begging him to come home and asking him where he is. And he's irritated with her on the phone and said, Tisha, what do you want? You could hear he was in a bar because in the background was loud music. And he rushed her off the phone and Tisha started crying. So Tisha very well knows where Marsau be, but it's not Melody's job to tell her what her husband do. No more than Tisha have to tell Melody anything because she know what her husband do. She know where he be. She know. Like, what are we?
So she said on national TV, well, you need to put the children to bed early and go find out yourself and do. So why can't Tisha do the same thing? Okay, I know about this right here. I'm going to let her go find out herself. I'm going to let her find out it herself. One thing ain't no better than the other. And that's the way I look at it. Y'all, a lot of people may say, well, that's bad or that's bad. That's bad. No, that's something that you and your husband are going to have to deal with at the time. She was still married to Martell. So that was something her and her husband had to deal with. She didn't want to get in between them and saying, well, what her and Martell had went back together and all this here had broke out. And Tisha would have been right there in the middle of all of this mess. So no.
So the same could be said about when Martell put out the receipts about Tisha being in the back of a Buick with some random guy. Same guy who was still hanging around Marsau, who's friends with Marsau, is said to be the same person who was banging Tisha out in the back of a Buick, and Martell showed the receipts on that. So the same could be said, right?
She did the right thing. I feel like she done the right thing, not to go back and say anything. And another thing, that her and Melody is not even talking. They're not even on that page, period. If I dislike,
she was talking enough to Melody to call her and say, Melody, I have something I need to tell to you that's very private. I don't tell nothing private to somebody that I don't talk to or fool with. Let me just go ahead and be transparent on that shit. Because not too long ago, Tisha called Melody, and Melody even talked about this. Melody co-signed this to say that Tisha called her up and said, I have something to ask you and or tell you, and please do not tell it and don't let it get out to nobody else. So whatever it was, it must have had something to do with Marsau and her marriage, or something very private that she wanted no one to know about. So I don't pick up my phone to tell things that I don't want told to anyone else, to a total stranger or my enemy. So Tisha felt the need to reach out to Melody then. She could talk to her then when she needed something, but she couldn't pick up the phone and tell her what that there was a whole tape out there. So I can call you when I need you, but when there's something going on that you might need to know, I don't speak to you, I don't mess with you, we ain't friends then. Oh, how convenient. How convenient.
Like you and you on your end, and I'm on here on my end. I'm going to let you handle yours on that end, and I'm going to do mine on this end. If Melody had to call her and say, well, I heard somebody say that, did you hear this? Or did you hear in this rumor that's going on? Then I felt like it was Tisha's time to say, yeah, girl, I heard about it, and blah, blah, this. Melody never called Tisha and asked Tisha anything. So, hey.
At the end of the day, everybody on the cast knew about Melody and Martell about to get a divorce before the show even aired. That's already been confirmed. Everybody knew, and it was understood that no one would talk about it because Mel and Martell weren't ready to tell this on the show. Melody broke the story on that on the yacht on Kimmy and Maurice's wedding. Y'all remember when the conversation was going back and forth between Melody and Martell about Ariane and Martell cheating with her. Even Martell was shocked. Melody said, fuck it, I'm going to tell my own story. I'm going to put my own tea out there. Nobody even spoke about it until then. And it was understood that nobody would talk about it. Tisha knew about it. Everybody on the cast knew about it. But Tisha opened her mouth in the cafe with she and Melody as a get back at Melody because she thought she was going to hurt Melody. But Melody said, let me spray my own tea and tell what was going on in my marriage. Something that Tisha has not been big enough and bad enough to do in her own fucking marriage. She's been sitting on it for how many seasons? 9 of those. And she still haven't talked about it. And now that the show is going down and Melody's leaving the show, all of a sudden now you want to talk about infidelities in your marriage. You want to make it your storyline of saying that you and Marsau get ready to be going to therapy to save your marriage because y'all have been having cracks in your marriage, something that the viewers have been seeing and you've been denying. Fuck that. We don't give a fuck about that no more. When we wanted to know, you didn't want to tell it. So now that we don't care, now you want to be transparent? FOH. Fuck out of here. Okay, we're going to end it here, guys, because I have an upcoming meeting and I want to be able to go ahead and get prepared for that. But I will be tapping back in with you guys. The rest of this interview really is nothing to listen to. Shout out to Bro Chat. Shout out to Bro Chat again for this. And thank you so much for letting me use the footage. I got to get out of here so I can prepare for that. But thank you guys for stopping by. Please don't forget to tap in and tap that like button. Okay, I told you I was going in. Oh, I was thoroughly irritated by the lies, as you guys can see. But let me... Kumbaya and woosah so that I can be professional with my meeting coming up. All right, love you guys down. Please don't forget to tap that like and bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still